Hello, welcome to Switched On, Paul speaking, and got a new video for you today on a game that's come out on the eShop today, and that is Railway Empire. This comes from Kalypso Media, and is going to set you back around about $40, £36 in the UK. And I've been looking forward to this one. Really like my management sims, and not averse to the odd train game. Got Train Simulator on the PS4 and the Japanese railway sim that we looked at on the channel a little while back. So not scared of having a look at a train game. And this one looks like a really good one. I've been playing this for a good few hours. And it's actually been out for quite a while in Japan, oddly enough. But I think there was some sort of issues with publishers and changed hands, that kind of thing. So it delayed it a little bit, but it's finally here, as I say, out today, the 19th of June. So let's have a look. Let's get into some gameplay. Before we get into anything, let's have a look at some of the options here. So we've got the campaign mode, which will take you through, obviously, a story and a campaign. There's different scenarios to play through, a free mode and a sandbox mode. So plenty to do. Plenty of options as well. One thing I just did want to check before I say anything at all, because I keep forgetting to check, and that's the text is quite small. So I was just seeing if there was an option there to increase the size of the text, but there isn't. So be aware of that, especially in handheld. The text is really small, but you'll see that for yourself. So let's get into my campaign, and I'll tell you about this game. So here we are. This is like a management sim, as I said, sort of an economic simulation where you're building railways, rail line stations, buying trains, delivering stock. It's really detailed, and it's actually really, really good. I know a lot of people have been waiting and looking forward to this one. So let's have a quick look at some of the things. You have this task list. Let's go back, actually. I skipped through that a bit, didn't I? Hold down ZR to bring up the wheel there. They've thought through the controls quite well here, because there's a lot going on. And you'd imagine on a PC with a mouse and keyboard, it's infinitely easier. But they've done a really good job, I think. All the controls are always listed at the bottom of the screen. So you can see here at the moment, I can press L and R to cycle through the different trains I've got. We'll have a close look at those in a minute. And you can press ZR, or hold down ZR, to bring up this action wheel, which is really cool. You've got all the actions here. And if you press X, it shifts to the outside. So there's actually 2 levels to the wheel, which is a really good way of doing it. I really like that. And press X again to get back to these inner wheel options. So the first thing we look at is the task list. This is what kind of drives the campaign game, is completing these tasks. And you can see here I've got the optional tasks of delivering cattle to Denver, meat to Cheyenne, and connecting 150,000 people in the rail network. You can see that counting up there on the right hand side. Also a mission at the bottom there to connect the Great Plains with the Rocky Mountains. We've already done the first part of that by reaching a population of 30,000 people in Cheyenne. And the next one on that list is to connect Omaha and Rock Springs, which I was going to try and do for you on the video, so you can see how that works. On the right stick, you can zoom in and out of the game world. And actually performs really well. You can see here, graphics are a little bit blurry. But generally does the job. But it's just nice. I mean, you'd probably be playing a lot of the time from this kind of zoomed out point of view. You know, to get around the world quicker and to sort of lay out your track and stuff. But yeah, the option to sort of get in and see those trains close up is really nice. And what's even better is if you click on Manage Train. Isn't Manage Train, is it? Center Train with ZL. If you press the Y button, you can actually ride along on the train, which is really cool. So here at the moment, we're loading up at a station, or unloading, one or the other. I think we're about ready to depart. Oh no, we're still loading stuff on. It does tell you when you're in the zoomed out view the current state of what's being loaded and unloaded in the little window in the right hand corner. So that's pretty cool. But you can see here anyway that the sort of goods, the cargo's being loaded up, and away we go. So we're riding along on the train, sort of hanging out of the side window. You can change the camera angle as well. So on the other side now, and looking backwards, looking forwards. So let's just hang out the window, and you can just sort of drive along the train as the world builds up. You start in the early 1800s, or the sort of the mid 1800s, and you know, you just play through the scenarios, and obviously the world gets more populated, and there's new buildings, and you know, just generally the landscape builds up. So it'd be really cool. So you can see the moving pistons and the wheels. Again, the graphics have taken a little bit of a hit on the Switch, but in these sort of strategy simulation type games, I don't think it matters a great deal. It's a really nice feature. And we can cycle through these trains. We can jump to another train. You can see here a little bit more populated rather than the sort of the dusty, deserty areas we was looking at before. Coming into something that looks a little bit more populated. This one's going through a little cavernous area. So yeah, it's really cool. So let's zoom back out, and let's try and connect these lines up. As I say, it's performing really nicely. You've got there's no real sort of slowdown. Nothing really pops in. Feels really nice. So we need to go. I'm going to spin the map round, so excuse me if you are going to get seasick here, because I need to go all the way over here to where Rock Springs is. So we need to connect Rock Springs. So the first thing you want to do, which I've already done I think in this town, is the first thing you want to do is build a train station at these towns, or there's actually little farms. See if we can find a farm, or little sort of industrial areas. So here we've got a little sort of a brick area. These won't supply any of the towns until they're connected by rail. So you know, you need to look out on the map. You see here, there's one here. I think that's cotton maybe. Wood mills over here, farms. So as long as you connect them all up with a station, you're going to start picking up goods from those places. What we got up here? Some cattle. Is that bamboo? Is it maybe? They've got bamboo fields here. So the more goods you can pick up and move around, obviously the more money you're going to make, which is really cool. But anyway, first thing you want to do is going to build a station. And so I've already done that by going to Actions, holding down ZR, and going to Building Construction. And you can build all these different things over on the right-hand side. Signals, supply tower, different size stations, terminal stations, warehouses, all sorts of stuff that you're going to need on your journey. So I've built a small station here at Rock Springs to start connecting it to... What was our station over here? Cheyenne is the closest sort of station. So we're going to try and join onto this line. Now the track building is really nicely done. It works really well. It sort of automatically lays out for you. It's really clever. Let's go to track construction. You can see I've already started laying this down here. And here's the next point we need to pick up. And you can see as we stretch out, it automatically sort of curves around mountains. It's really cool. You can sort of adjust the height of it, so you can start building up. You know, if you need to go over something, you can build it up here with bridges. Lower it back down again. Go below ground. So we're just going to try and get this line over here to the Cheyenne line. So we're just going to keep stretching it. And then it kind of automatically snaps into place. But I wonder if we can get a bit of a nicer snapping. There we go. So we don't have to spend so much money going over the mountains. So there we go. So now we're connected. Rock Springs. All the way over here to the Cheyenne line. Press X to confirm that track. And we've completed that task. So if we look at our task list, ZR, and then up to the tasks, you can see here, down the bottom, connected Omaha and Rock Springs in 1867. So next task, 1868, need to do this by, and that's to transport 100 passengers from Cheyenne to Rock Springs without stopping. You can see at the top, the current date is 1865, so we've got 3 years to do that. The current speed of the game at the top as well, the red button at the top is just on play at the moment. If you right click, click in on the left stick, sorry, it speeds that up. So if you want to get cracking, you can speed that up. So we can cycle through our trains, and we might want to put a new train on that track. We've got a problem with that train actually, so we're going to have a look at that in a sec. But yeah, we can add a new locomotive to this line because we don't want to stretch our network so much. So if we go to X, we can see how, all of our current trains on the different lines that we've got. So I think the first thing we should do is make a rail line from Rock Springs to Cheyenne. Actually, let's redo that. Let's go to... Let's just add in Rock Springs. So that's the direction we're currently going. So we need to save and end. And that should hopefully get us a train coming out here to Rock Springs. So this train now goes from Norfolk to Rock Springs. You can see at the top there are different lines. We can cycle through those with L&R. Brown Preserve to Cheyenne, Evans Farm to Cheyenne, and then Norfolk to Rock Springs, which is quite a long line. We're probably going to need another locomotive on that line. Yeah, because I think we're going to be pushing that one. So let's see if we can add a new train. No, either of these aren't particularly great. Let's go for the Dragon. We don't want to replace one. Might even be at our limit of what we can actually put on the line at the moment. This train we've got here is actually on the verge of breaking down. Come here, you little bugger. So once you centre a train, you can then use the right stick to look all around it. Now the game has got a really extensive tutorial to go through as well, so it does teach all this. If it looks a bit overwhelming, there is a lot to help you out with sort of a fully voiced tutorial, which is really helpful and takes you through all the basics of setting up the trains, the lines and the stations. Let's go back to our tasks. Yeah, we've got no passengers yet going from Cheyenne to Rock Springs. So hopefully as the train gets over there, we will pick up some passengers. Where is Cheyenne? It's down here, isn't it? Yeah, we'll get that moving. So let's have a look at some of the other options. Let's just save that. So let's just take a look at the other options here before we wrap this one up. We've got the campaign mode, as we said, what we're working through. The scenarios, let's have a look at those. Got plenty to do with different scenarios to complete. Now what these are is you take on like a little story and have to complete a set number of tasks to complete the scenario. Comes with a lot of scenarios here. What we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 different scenarios that come with the game, and then you can purchase from the eShop the Great Britain and Ireland, Germany and surrounding areas, and France scenarios as well. They're all available in the eShop. We've got the free mode. This lets you just go to a region and play through it without too much pressure. And then the sandbox mode, you just start in a region and can build up without the worry of sort of spending money and competition and that kind of thing. You just build the biggest rail network that you can. And there you go. So I really like this one. This is going to be a really deep game. There's a hell of a lot to it. If you like sort of management sims, economic sims, I mean, there's a lot to take in economics and business wise to set up the most efficient rail network, transporting goods, passengers, mail, all that kind of thing. It is a bit downgraded from the PC, as you've probably seen from the graphics, but the fact that it runs quite nicely is a big plus. And as I say, for these sort of strategy games, it isn't that big of a deal. There's a hell of a lot going on under the hood, which is probably why they've had to downgrade the graphics to fit it all in. But I really enjoy this one. I certainly recommend it. It's come out really well. I know a lot of people have been waiting for it, and I can give it the big thumbs up, I think, for this one. So that's Railway Empire on the Nintendo Switch. It's out today. Let me know in the comments below if you're picking this one up and what you think of it. Thanks for watching, everyone. I will see you all on the next video. Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.